Awesome. Hello and good afternoon to all our awesome authors. It is so great to be with you. And I have yet another awesome author to interview. I have got the privilege of speaking to Donna Smith about her children's book that she wrote. And I won't give too many details about the book, but it's called The Adventures of Peabody Rich. And we're going to talk a little bit about her journey, her process, and what led her on this adventure of writing and publishing. So, Donna, welcome. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. And also, tell us a little bit about yourself. All I know is you're from Arkansas and you have got 3 kids and you're married to an artist.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I am a 31-year veteran teacher that just very recently retired. As a matter of fact, I retired at the end of June. So just very recently retired. Most of my journey in teaching was really crazy because I started out as a music teacher with a science minor and ended up teaching in science for music for 4 years, science for 13 years. But then I started noticing that my kids weren't able to read like they should. And so I went back and did my two masters in literacy and curriculum to try and figure out how I could help my kids better. And getting into literacy that way kind of led me into being really interested in children's literature and wanting to be able to provide them with a good piece of literature that parents didn't have to worry, did it have language in it, did it have sex in it, did it have all of those things that you don't want to see in there. And it's very clean, very wholesome, and just a good, I think a good story, but I'm a little prejudiced there. So
Yes. All good. All good. We all should actually believe in the stories that we steward, that we're given, that we publish, that we write. I love that.
yeah.
That's awesome. So when did you first feel that kind of call to write or that nudge to write? Was it through the teaching experience?
Actually, I've always liked to write. Whenever I was even in school, in grade school, and in middle school and junior high school, I always liked to write. I wrote stories. I wrote poetry, just a lot, just doodling and a lot of different fun things, And of course, when you're going through the teen years, all of the love stuff, So I have had a long love of writing and just jotting down things that come to mind. I write songs and, just the words in general are just a lot, a way to express my feelings on things and a release of feelings, that get pent up sometimes. And, but just I have a love for it. I have a love for gifted writers and, I just read all the time. So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
love that. I love to see how, these things are just seem to be wired into us, how we get to steward our passions and our gifts and the stuff we love. That's very exciting.
It is. It is. Very,
So,
very exciting.
so The Adventures of Peabody Rich, was your first book that you published? And what are some of the other things that you're working on?
Yes, the Adventures of Peabody Rich was my first foray into the world of publishing, and it is a really kind of unique story about a kid who has an eidetic memory. That means he doesn't forget anything that he sees, so he remembers everything. So he gets kind of overwhelmed with it, and he's seeing a professor in a university where his parents work that is trying to help him sort through the memories by giving him a different way to sort them, to picture them. and to file them sort of. And this professor ends up in a bad situation and gets hurt and hospitalized. And so the Peabody and his friends try to figure out what exactly is going on, because the professor has left a clue that only he can figure out through his eidetic memory. So, I mean, yeah, it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Love a good mystery and adventure as well.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah,
good.
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. And you have another little passion, don't you, with some of the pets in the room?
Oh, yes, I do. I have I also write parodies of children's fairy tales, and I have a love of pugs, and I do have a Frenchie now too. So this is my first foray into having a Frenchie, which is totally different than a pug, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But I have pugs, and so I'm writing a book of short stories, fairy tales, parodies, called Pug Tales, and yeah, and it's all about, you know, the very first one I wrote was the pug in the Little Red Hoodie, aka Little Red Riding Pug. So
Yeah.
so, you know, so some fun things like that. And you know, it's the pugs trying to get the bone to the grandmother who's not feeling well, you know, and has a big dog that gets in its way. So, you know,
I love
it's a
that.
lot of fun.
It sounds like so
A lot of
much
fun.
fun. So
Oh,
much
it is.
fun.
That one is really fun. Yeah.
I have to say, from all the books I've done, I have loved writing for children the most. I just find so much joy in that process and that creativity. What would you say is your biggest challenge as an author?
Oh, yeah. You and I were talking a little bit before, and I kind of told you that I've had a little bit of a block as far as long pieces go. And I think that it sometimes it's really hard to get past those blocks, you know. So I'm trusting that my block is because God wanted me to write in a different, you know, to focus on these little short fairy tales versus a long piece, but yet I still have a couple of them that are fleshed out that I just need to have time to sit down and write. And so finding it in before I retired, my job was a coordinator for a school district for dyslexic kids. I was the dyslexia coordinator for the district, and I had about 19 people underneath me that worked with dyslexic children, trying to help teach them to read. And it took up enormous amounts of time. And so I really had to put anything that I wanted to do long aside. You have to have a lot of time. I mean, it has to be something that you're dedicated to, that you can spend the time that you need. Because if you let anything get in the way of that creative process, it is very difficult to come back to that, you know, especially if you're on a high and you're writing really well and then something interrupts. It's like, oh, where do I go? You know what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah.
To me, that's the hardest thing, is getting past those blocks or the interruptions, you know, to that writing process. If you're going good, you need to be in a place where those interruptions aren't going to happen, so that you can finally, you know, get it worked out. And I just think it goes better whenever you're writing the first time, if you understand what I'm saying. If you're getting it all out, getting it all on paper, even if you have to come back and rewrite some of it,
Yes.
It's just so much easier to do that whenever you get it all down the first time.
Wow,
So,
there's so much you've just said that I feel like I've got to summarize some of it, because it is so good. like, first of all, it's like the time commitment. Like, writing a book is going to cost you. It's
It
going to
is.
cost you time, attention, um, and you need to make room for that.
That's
Otherwise,
right.
that book is never going to happen.
Mm-mm.
Um, and it might mean that you've got to make some sacrifices somewhere in terms of time and space, and making that, carving out that space for yourself to focus and really commit to the process. And then the other thing you mentioned that I also thought was so good, that is just not coming back to me right now.
So it's just the follow through, getting it all down on paper
Yes,
the
yes.
first time.
So a
Yes.
big mistake that a lot of authors make is that they edit their book as they write it, or they go
Hmm.
back to chapters. And what I always tell authors is just write, just get all of that stuff out of you, and
Hmm.
then you can go back and make sure
Yeah.
that it's in the right place.
Yeah.
I mean, for my nonfiction and even for fiction books, I make sure that I've got my framework
Hmm.
very tight, so that when I sit down to write, I know the journey that I'm going to take
Hmm.
the reader on. That
Yes.
is very helpful in terms of focus. But
Hmm.
the other thing is that when I start building, I've got my scaffolding, but when I start building, I keep building until the house is done. I
Yes.
and then I'll go and make it pretty. I don't know
Yes.
if that's building wisdom, but it's definitely writing
Yes.
wisdom. Is don't stop yourself, just keep going and get that out.
Mm.
Don't edit as you go,
Yeah.
just let it flow. There's another tagline: don't edit as you
That's
go,
let it
just
flow.
let it flow.
Let it flow. There you go.
Yeah,
Oh, there you go. We got it.
the poetry's just coming out of us.
It really is. It's just flowing. Yep. I like that. Um, I think that if they're the type of person who is sort of I am not an OCD person at all. I'm what they call abstract thinker. I think in great big pictures, and I see a lot of stuff all at the same time because my brain just thinks like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's from being around kids so many years. I think like them now. Uh, but if you're that OCD person who has to clean up as you ride, my biggest suggestion to you would be to go ahead and um, do an outline so that you could get in your head what chapters you want where. Go ahead and give them a title so that it kind of follows through. Then if you need to go back as you write the chapter and you need to edit that chapter, that's not as big a problem as not getting the whole chapter down. And
Yes.
if you don't get the whole chapter down and you're trying to edit every sentence that you do, you get so frustrated and it becomes a real hard thing to do instead of just going ahead and, you know,
That's right. That's very
getting
helpful
it
advice.
down. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you love most about being an author?
Oh, the thing that I love most, and I don't know if Shirley's our friend that we have in common. I don't know if she told you about how the book came to be. Whenever Shirley and I met, whenever we were doing our master's degrees in, I think it was administration or something like that. We were working together, and she taught sixth grade at the time, and that was when I was the literacy coach. And so I wanted genuine feedback from kids who were about the right age for my book. And so, and this is the reason why I'm saying, if you have to be that OCD person, do a chapter at a time and at least get the chapter out before you start editing. What I would do is she and I connected, and I would write a chapter and then I sent it to her, and she and her kids in the classroom, she would read it to her kids and they would give me feedback.
Wow. Wow, that is so cool.
It was amazing
Yeah.
because that was genuine. Did you, and I
Yeah.
would say, I would ask them questions. I would always say, did you understand what's going on in this story? Was there anything confusing? Was there anything that I need to clear up? What can I do to make it better?
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
and
That's such
so we did
valuable
the
feedback.
we did the whole book that way. It wasn't just one chapter, it was the whole book. So I would write a chapter and send it to them, and then they would be like, okay, what's going to happen next? You know, they were really pushing me. And so it was good for me because I knew those kids were wanting to know what else was going on in the story. So I'd had to think, okay, well, what else is going on in the story? You know, what can I do? And so they gave me a very real feedback and helped me. Whenever I had the book published, I had all of her students and her sign a sheet, and it's in the very front of my book, their
Right.
signatures, because
Wow.
they were the ones that helped me on that journey for my
That's
first book.
amazing. What a gift. What a
So,
gift to get all of that valuable feedback. That's
it was
amazing.
it was a lot of fun, but we had a great time. And so that was the best thing I think about writing the book was I'm a real people person. I like to talk to people. I like to just visit, find out about them, and having that feedback and that ability to talk to those kids, because I would call them, we would get them on the phone, and we would talk back and forth. And this was before Zoom and all, became real big. I think we had
Yes.
FaceTime, and so it was a lot of fun. And so whenever they finished reading the book, they called me and they all went, "Yay!" It was great.
Oh, that's
We loved
wonderful.
it.
Absolutely wonderful.
So it was fun. It was just a lot of fun. And then after it was over with, after we had everything, then she had me to the school, and we spent half a day. I spent half a day with the kids answering their questions. And so we had a kind of an author day at her school, and I was the author. I felt really good about it,
Yeah.
So
And deservedly so, because it is a lot of hard work to get to that point of pressing publish.
Oh, it is.
It's
Yep.
hard work.
Oh.
So you've told us a little bit about the book and the story. So is there a message or something deeper you want the little readers who read the book, that you want them to get from that book?
Well, it's one of those. It's just very simple. Good versus evil, good wins. It's one of those things where I wanted a really feel good book where something that kids could relate to, and they understand. There's a little bit about bullying in there, just a little bit, because Peabody is a little bit different. He goes to he goes to a school that's with the university, and his parents are like music professors, very, very smart, music professors. His best friend's parents are art professors there, and they live next door to each other. And so the music professors are kind of very classic, and in that the art people are, well, they're theater people. They're not art people, they're theater people, and they're just kind of wild and crazy. And so it makes a good mix for the book. And so it's just about having fun. It's an adventure book, a mystery book, and it's just again, like I said, it's just that good versus the good overcomes the evil that's meant to be. And it's it could be a standalone book, but I hope it's not. I hope there are more to come. So because it was fun, right? It was fun writing it. Like I said, it was a lot of fun. And I think that I would probably partner up again with a teacher in a classroom, just because it was amazing for me, but it was amazing for the kids too. The kids got so much out of it. And I think if you talk to Shirley, she'll talk to you about the lessons that she put together to go along with it to help her kids become better writers. I mean, that whole group was just really on fire to write and everything. And it was because we had that connection together. And that's more what I was going for. The story and everything was good, but trying to get kids to like to learn to read, to want to read anything is a big deal to a literacy person, to a literacy educator. And so definitely was to me.
Awesome. I'm absolutely astonished by that process. That is so cool. It's one of the best things I've heard in a long
Thank
time. So where can we find your book?
Right now, in case you didn't know, it's been a while since I wrote it. And like I said, my job kind of got in the way of that. And so I've written short pieces since then, but it is available on Amazon. It's been on Amazon for a little bit. You may have to look to find it, but it is there. And
we'll find the link for you, and we'll pop it in the comments and in the description, so you'll be able to get hold of a copy if you want one.
Oh, thank you. Or they can email me, and you have my email address. I have several. Still have quite a few copies myself, and I'm happy to send those out too. And it's like I said, it's just a fun book. It's just a feel good book, and it's about good friendship, too. Yeah,
I think it's just so lovely to have content that is clean and encouraging and building up of especially self-esteem in kids. And I love that. I absolutely love that. Donna, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, your experience, and your beautiful book with us. And it's amazing to have you as part of the yes. We haven't showed.
This is it.
Yes, there you go.
In case you're looking for it online, this is it.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's amazing. What a nice cover. Who designed your cover?
Mark did. Let me think what his last name is. Hang on. Let me see if I can find it. No, not Mark. Jeff Hayes did my cover, and he is amazing. He is on Facebook too. You can find him if you need a cover done. He is an amazing graphic artist. But I wanted to show you too the page where I was talking about the signatures. I don't know if you can see that.
Lovely.
That's my signature page of all the kids that helped me with the book.
Amazing.
And it's right in the front. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yep. I think
wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah. Thanks everybody for watching today. Thank you, Donna, for being here and for being part of this group. It's always good to have people who have journeyed and experienced, and they know what it's like in this world to be in this profession or in this field. So I appreciate the time spending with us and helping us understand a little bit more about your experience. So thanks very much. Everybody have an awesome day, and I'll see you on Thursday. Bye.
Bye, Melissa.
Bye.